Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is about that time. Keep your hands up and keep your head on a swivel. The Haymakers and Submissions podcast is here. We woke up and chose violence today. Stick and stay for combat sports talk at its finest, coming your way now. Welcome, everybody, to the Haymakers and Submissions podcast. My name is Drew. I'm joined with my co-host and partner, Chops. We're going to be talking some boxing today. We got a lot to talk about, so stick around and buckle up and hang in there with us. Chops, how you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Glad to be here. You know, man, come on. Anytime we can talk boxing, you know it's a good day, man. I'm excited about it. I'm real excited. What's going on with you, man? How's everything up in Old Motor City?
Little early spring, 50-degree days up here. Snow's melting, and it's spring training now, and Tigers are hitting the field, sort of Pirates. I know that. So baseball is upon us. You know, NBA and NHL are starting to hit the home stretch, so it's good stuff. And we just had the fight card of the century, did we not, last Saturday?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Were we not entertained?
Yeah. I'll admit that, man. And you know what? And this is something real quick we hadn't even planned to get into. But your boy, did you happen to see, because that wasn't even a fight we'd really talked about, Callum Smith. Did you see his fight?
Great.
That was a good one, man. That was a great one. I'm not even gonna lie. That was a good one.
Really?
You know what I mean? So yeah, I like that one. I like that one. So, but it was, man, it was a good card. You know, the Virgil Hill fight was pretty good too. It's not one I was really looking at, but Virgil, that was a decent fight too.
Ortiz?
Yeah, Virgil Hill. Yeah. Virgil, what am I doing? I'm getting all kind of names mixed up today.
That's all right. Virgil Hill is a great fighter.
Yeah.
No,
it was, man.
Two fighters dropped out. It was very good.
Yes, it was. That surprised me. That really did. Well, who replaced him?
Well, Padley.
You know, I didn't expect them to be competitive with the replacements because it was on short notice. But still, I'm glad it went down. I'm glad we still got to see the leather being thrown.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's jump into it because we got a lot to cover here. Let's talk about the big one. Undisputed light heavyweight championship, Dmitry Bivol. Second fight, defeats Artur Beterbiev via majority decision. Last fight, it was, I'm not going to say controversial, but there were a lot of people that thought Bivol won. A lot of people, probably 50-50. I think this fight was a little bit more straightforward and to the point. I don't think there's much doubt that Bivol won the fight, although one of the judges did have it a draw. And, okay, maybe that's fair because it was a close fight, to be honest with you. But and I've got my card, and I know you scored the fight too. So I'm curious to hear how you had it. But talk about your thoughts overall on this one, Chops. Was it better than the first one in your view?
Oh, yeah, without question. And because your boy Bivol was busier. He was busier. He really was. Now, so that to me made it a better fight just because he was busier. Now, here we go. I know you had it 115-115. No, 115-113. Yep. 115-113. Which one of the judges had? Other judge had it 116-112. Mm-hmm. I didn't see that. To me, I didn't see that one. However, I had it 114-114.
That is dropped.
So yeah. So here's why. And I'm trying to get out of my ways. I'm trying to get out of my old man, get off my lawn type thinking. Because remember, I'm still the type of dude. To be the champ, you got to beat the champ. You don't have to knock them out. You know, years and years ago when Jack Johnson fought those guys, they fought till somebody got knocked out, whatever have you. They go 26 rounds. It was nothing, right? Not that it was nothing, but they go 26 rounds. Mm-hmm. See, if these are two guys coming up, or this would have been the first fight, belts there for whomever, you know what I mean? Or if the belts there to be taken, okay, I give it to Bivol. And even I don't even have a problem with the 115-113 for Bivol, right? But my issue was, and why I went with Beterbiev a draw. Excuse me, I didn't have him retaining. Why I had it a draw, because even when he was easy to hit for Bivol, because he just comes straight forward. Now, there were times when he planted his feet, he had some head movement, and he still made Bivol miss a couple of times, which shocked me that he had a little – because I'll be honest with you, that defense surprised me because a lot of times Beterbiev has guys swinging at him and he can duck them, but it's almost like they're firing out of panic. Right, where Bivol was in control of himself, he was stationary. He was where he wanted to be, but he was throwing some nice shots. And the fact that Beterbiev was still able to see them and move and duck, that's why I like some of that. However, what really took me out though had me give it a draw. I still go with ring control, and when I say ring control, and it's not even I can say that Beterbiev dictated where they fought because he was never really against the ropes too much. No. Bivol wasn't against the ropes too much, but he was still continuing to move forward. That's what he came forward a lot more than Bivol did. And the crazy part is, think about this. If Bivol doesn't start out like a shot out of a gun the first 2 rounds, he may not have gotten that victory because if he, you know what I'm saying? Because with Bivol taking the first 2, I had Bivol taking the first 2.
I did too.
And then from like 3 to 6, 3 to 7, somewhere because I left my scorecard in the other room. 3 to 6, 3 to 7. No, I think it was from rounds 3 through 7, maybe 3 through 8, or that I had Beterbiev winning, right? Okay. That I had Beterbiev, right? And it was almost like the 8th or the 9th on. But I also think maybe I gave the 12th round to Better. I can't believe I did not bring my card. The only reason I say that, man, is because, like I said, Beterbiev was coming forward. Now, he was taking some shots because Bivol was busy. He wasn't running. I hate to say running, but he wasn't moving as much as he did in the first one. And he was sitting down on punches a lot more. He was sitting down on punches. Not saying they deterred Beterbiev because he kept coming forward, but you were landing because you know where Beterbiev's going to be. You always know where he's going to be. You know what I mean? It's like you live alone and you put your keys on the kitchen table at 4 in the afternoon. You come back at 6 in the morning, Gary, go to work. They're going to be there. No, you know what I mean? You knew Beterbiev was going to be there. You just knew it. Yep. So that to me was why, but also it was a lot of those close rounds. And when I say close, you as in Bivol may have landed the cleaner shots, but you weren't pushing the pace. He was pushing the pace. He was dictating, I'm coming for you. I'm still hunting you. You know what I mean? So that to me is why. Now, again, I can't get mad at the 115, 113. You saw it that way. Some judges saw it that way. Now, the 116, 112, I don't see that. No, I don't. Mm-hmm. But you know what I'm saying? So, again, I had it to 114, 114 because I go back to the adage. I'm trying to get over, I try to go in not thinking who's the champ, right? I try to do that, not to think who's the champ. And I try to take it as who won this fight. But on this, what's on the line, Beterbiev's going forward, Bivol's coming back, he's backpedaling. He's I don't even say backpedaling, but he's dancing. He's using all the real estate and the canvas that they give him. I just like the way I just like the way Beterbiev fought. And that's why I had it a draw. But again, not a hill I'm willing to die on. So you had it 115, 113, which I think that's what you had it, right? 115, 113. Yeah, I get that. And I can probably, if we had our scorecards in front of us, probably 7 or 8. One of the championship rounds, 10 or 11 or 12, one of those rounds, 10, 11, 12, one of those rounds I had given to Beterbiev. Yes, Bivol was running around. He was busier, but he was still backing up. That was the only, that was the only reason. So I had to withdraw, man.
I had first 2 rounds to Bivol. And again, he came out at I thought, looking back at, actually, I could see it happening after the 8th and 9th round because first 2 rounds he came out pretty active. Yeah, he did. And Beterbiev was, feeling him out. I get it, but he lost those 2 rounds. I had Beterbiev winning the next 4 in a row, 3 through 6. And there was a noticeable drop off in activity with Bivol. He was not as active punching. he was more methodical. He was slowed down. He wasn't dancing as much. He was.
Hold on.
Mhm.
Let me ask you something, because you're on this. I don't want you to lose your, but I want to ask you, was he more methodical because he knew he wanted to, in your case, because he didn't slow down as though, because when you saw him, if you saw them between those rounds, because I noticed the point of this, like after 5 or 6, Bivol is sitting in his corner just doing his thing.
Yep.
Where Beterbiev was taking those big, deep breaths. Now, that may be what he did. He was done that, maybe whatever. But I thought about it, man. Beterbiev, look, he was doing this thing and he was coming forward. But to me, I thought Bivol realized, let me take these middle rounds slow, because I know I got the first 2 in the bag. Let me take these next 2, 3, 4, however many slow, and pour it on at the end. Now, do you think, because you don't think he slowed down because he was tired, or do you think that was part of it? Okay, that's all I want to ask.
I think it was absolutely the game plan. Risky. Because Beterbiev took advantage and he was hitting him with some good shots. But to your point, I mean, I wouldn't say I thought Beterbiev was gassed, but he definitely slowed. And if you look at the ConcuBox numbers from the first fight to this fight, I think he threw almost 200 fewer punches in this fight than he did the first. He had over 1,000 punches thrown in the first fight.
Yeah. Well, let's not forget. I mean, it was only 5-6 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Bivol wasn't as active. So now you're taking fire back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And in each fight, I had like one word. I had one word associated with every fight. This fight, for me, I was torn between energy or age. That's what came down to me. And I'll elaborate on it a little bit later, because I apologize again for cutting you off. But when you had talked about he had given up those rounds or it slowed down, I wanted to get your opinion why you thought he slowed down. And do you think that was part of the game plan?
Totally thought it was part of the game plan. And then the second half of the fight, he did what we talked about that he had to do, which was be more active. And here's the unscientific view from my end. The first fight and the second fight. The first fight, when Beterbiev landed in the second half of the fight, that's where I was like going, ooh, like, wow, as a shot.
Yeah.
Fight, I was doing that with Bivol.
Yes. Yeah, I'll give you that.
Scored. Bivol hit him. I was like, damn.
Yes.
He was rocking him a few times. I mean,
He did. And he did. And of course, I don't know if Beterbiev's face just takes the bruising, because remember, his face looked a little beat up the first fight. He got hit more this fight, so he had some nicks on his face. Yeah. But he doesn't I think there was one shot, was it 10th maybe, or 8th? I'm not exactly sure, 8th, 9th, 10th, something like that. And Bivol stuck him, and he stopped for a second, but Beterbiev never really showed, wow, that hurt. You know what I mean? He never looked like that hurt him. It never looked like it caught his attention. He figured, like, this is part of what we do, and kept coming. You know what I'm saying? So that to me, but I'll be honest with you, man. Like I said, going back, I had it 114. All right, now I apologize again, man. I'm going off on the rails. But you go back where you were talking about the speed.
Yeah, so I thought Bivol was definitely faster. He's definitely picked up the pace in the second half. And what I did like, I noticed when he was moving, he would take a couple gallops to the left, and then as soon as he landed, he'd stick him with a 4-punch combination, jab cross, jab cross. And I was like, and that first jab was like, it stopped Beterbiev in his tracks. Like every time, like, damn, it was impressive. Not saying it was a haymaker, but I was like, holy crap. I mean, he was really sticking him. And I loved what he was doing. I like both fighters. I scored both these fights, and I agree with you. I would, of course, favor the champ. Well, in the first fight, they both had belts. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to score it as I see it.
Yeah, I get that.
I still kind of had that mentality because that fight was so close. And like I said, I had Beterbiev winning. And I'm actually referencing my scorecard from that first fight. And I had that 115-113 Beterbiev.
Oh, so, okay. So you have your scorecard from Saturday night in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did you have Bivol winning 8 through 12, 9 through 12? How did you have it?
7 through 11. I gave Beterbiev the 12th. I thought he was very active. I thought he was more aggressive. They were both pretty gassed at the end, but I gave him that round for sure. But it was like after that 6th round, all of a sudden Bivol flipped the switch. And like I said, I thought he edged. There were a couple rounds that were very close. Don't get me wrong. I thought he edged him out. And then there were some that he won pretty convincingly in my mind.
And you had Bivol winning 3 through 6.
Yep.
I think I had Bivol winning 3 through 7.
No, I've known in this fight I had Beterbiev winning 3 through 6. Bivol winning the first 2, and then Bivol, I almost swept the last part of the fight in my view, other than the last round.
Okay, then I think I had Beterbiev 3 through 7.
There's
3 through 7 and the 12.
I can see that. That's not it's not far fetched.
Yeah. That's it. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 5 rounds, and then 12. Yeah, that's how I had it. That's how I had it.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and that's how I had it. And even in a couple times, if he could have been a little busier, or because there were some times where your boy, to me, Beterbiev was in there close. Bivol held him, just tied him up as a veteran boxer does. And I thought Beterbiev could have used the time, maybe in like the 8th or 9th or something like that, to punch his way out, maybe steal the round, and he didn't. Yeah. You know what I mean? And he didn't. So I was excited with it. I really did, man. I liked it. I enjoyed the fight. It showed me. Now, here's the thing, though. And it's gonna sound crazy, okay?
Okay.
Because you had on the position, you had talked about, will there be a trilogy? Okay. Will there be a trilogy? I am literally 50-50 on a trilogy, and here's why.
Okay.
Now that Bivol changed his game plan and he fought more, was a little more aggressive. Remember, I said speed or age. What was he going to go with? Whatever have you. I think he had the speed because he's younger, and because of his age, he was able to. His gas tank was a little better. You know what I mean? You don't see 40-year-old cats with doing it at that level. Manny Pacquiao did, but you don't see cats at 40 years old still applying that pressure at that dominant. You know what I mean? As Beterbiev was doing. So age, we saw all time. Father Time, undefeated, right? So on the one hand, I believe if there's a rematch, because he stood in there, he was doing it, and he was smart. He and Bivol was smart because, like you said, jab, cross, and he got out. He never stayed too long in the hot zone. You know what I mean? He never stayed, and that was impressive because he could have gotten outside of himself later in the fight to where, I'm sticking this cat. And the game plan was jab, cross, get out. Where he's like, no, I'm going to throw jab, cross, body. Jab, cross, overhand right. Let's see what he does. But he never stayed too long. You know, he never overstayed his welcome, so to speak. No. You know what I mean? Because you never know what could have came back, right? Yep. So on that aspect, I think he will improve. He is in Bivol, will improve because he knows he's faster now. He's not as intimidated because I think the first fight he might have given Beterbiev too much respect. Too much respect. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Because he realized, I thought he hit harder. I thought he was faster, this, that, whatever. And he realized, I'm significantly faster than this guy. I can't take an entire night of him doing this to me. But he believed in himself, big dog, because like you said, he didn't throw those middle rounds, but you could tell he definitely took them off. But then when he wanted to turn it up, Bivol, he was able to. You know what I'm saying? So because of his speed, because of the newfound confidence of being able to bang with Beterbiev, I think he comes out and goes hard from round 1. I don't think he gives up any of those middle rounds. So a trilogy could honestly be a one-way fight towards Bivol. I really believe. Now that's the one hand, right? Now on my other hand, I think Beterbiev realizes too. Wow, I'm only going every day from now until the rematch. I'm only getting older. I will never be as fast or have the endurance that I have now. Right now, today is the best endurance I'll ever have because it's going to go downhill. So having said that, if Beterbiev takes the trilogy, knowing the payday is going to be immense, so there's no way he's going to pass it up.
Yeah.
But if he takes that trilogy fight, he has to realize I can't match his speed. Youth, he has the youth. It doesn't matter. He has the youth. His gas tank's going to be better. He's going to be able to be on his horse because he's always been that type of fighter. So on the one hand, as much as I think what Beterbiev learned in 2 fights, he pushed to the third one, he can walk away with an easy victory. But because of what Beterbiev also knows, we could, not saying it'll be Hagler-Hearns, but I believe we could see Hagler-Hearns-esque, because I believe Beterbiev will be like, there's no need for me to take this cat to deep waters because his tank is better than mine. He has better speed than me. So your boy, hypothetically, Beterbiev could take off the first 2 rounds and say, I'm going for broke from 3 till whenever I can get him out of there. Or he might come out round 1. I got to go for broke because I'm not going to be any fresher. And his gas tank's not going to give out. His speed is not going to slow down. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, part of me wants to see it because now either Bivol can throw the leather because he's got great confidence, or Beterbiev realizes this is it. I better get to it because if I don't, it does it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm torn. What are you thinking about Trilogy?
Well, I'd like to see it for sure.
Okay.
But here's the thing. And I want to say it was the Adams Show on Twitter. They brought this up that trilogies have never happened in consecutive. You haven't had the
first, know,
third, and that's true. But Beterbiev is over 40 now.
Yeah.
So they can't wait another year and a half, 2 years to do the trilogy. No way. They can't.
Well, Beterbiev just turned 40, but you're absolutely right. Let's not haggle. He just turned 40 in January. So he's 40, and you're right, can't much wait. Mm-hmm. But let's not forget, Turk wasn't involved years back when we didn't see trilogies.
That's true.
Now we're seeing the fights Turk wants to see. You know what I'm saying? And he's offering these guys a king's ransom to get in there. So this layoff may be a little more than 6 months, but I believe if there's a trilogy, we could see it by Halloween. I honestly believe that we could see it by Halloween. You know what I mean? So
I'd like to see it. I mean, realistically, the first fight was good. Little underwhelming considering, but the second fight delivered.
Now, after the first fight, I remember you saying we saw you liked it. Not like you weren't. It wasn't you, but you were entertained.
Oh yeah.
I wasn't. See, after the first one,
okay.
This one I was. And to be honest with you, after that first round, I was sort of worried. I was like, because I had Beterbiev. I really did. I had him even going in. I picked Beterbiev. But I was like, whoa, Bivol's a different cat. But I said, let me see. Is this nerves? Is he anxious? Even though I know the moment will never be too big for him.
No.
You know? So, but I was like, or what? And then he came out second round and one. I said, uh-oh, what's going on? Then the third and fourth one, I was like, okay, Beterbiev setting in. Then I started seeing a trend. Bivol's not firing back on all cylinders. Like, oh, let's see what he's doing. But he realized he had to be able to go in those championship rounds in order to secure the victory. He had to. He had to. So
it was I have no reason to believe it wasn't the game plan, and it was brilliantly executed.
It was. It really was, man. Because it just was. Because the fact that when Bivol decided to throw, he was beating him to the punch. He was able to get in, get out. The fact, again, he didn't get outside himself and forget the game plan. That's impressive. You know what I mean? So I got to give the young man props on that. And you're 34, calling him a young man. But I do. I got to give him props on that, man. So I do. So I'm interested to see. Now, let me ask you this.
Okay.
Would you rather see Benavidez and Bivol? Would you rather, you know what I'm saying? Would you rather see that one? Would you rather, or would you rather see the trilogy in this one?
That's a good question. At face value, I'd rather see Benavidez fight Bivol first. But
go ahead, because I want to go ahead.
Factor is why I'm like, I'd really rather they run it back sooner than later, because I'd really like to have it decided and then let Benavidez take the winner. I think that would work too.
But then again, let me ask you this. Okay, if he took Benavidez, let's say he took Benavidez first, then he had the trilogy fight with Beterbiev. In your mind, You're the promoter. How and when would you put these together? What time frame? Like when would you have him and Benavidez go? Then when are we running a trilogy?
Well, I think the timing needs to be like October, Halloween time, like you said, for whatever fights next, and then say 6 to 8 months after that, which would probably be May of next year, roughly, right?
Yeah.
May, or say April, of the whatever that third, whether it's the trilogy in October or the Benavidez Bivol fight in October, and then the next fight we put it together.
Now, here's the thing: if you have him fight Benavidez, if Benavidez wins, the trilogy's not as important.
Oh, because they got
you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So if Benavidez wins, now we're looking at Benavidez versus Beterbiev. You know what I mean? So it'd be interesting to see how that all goes.
So if I'm the promoter, then I'm going to be taking some polls, looking at the pay-per-view numbers, and I'm going to see what makes the most sense. If the trilogy makes sense, then they got to do it in October, November.
Yeah. Then let me ask you, because nobody knows his body better than Beterbiev, right? Mm-hmm. And even at 41, he'll be 41 in next January, right? So let's say, for sake of argument, he says, I'll fight not a cupcake, but somebody he runs through, right? Maybe gets 4 or 5 rounds, runs through him. Mm-hmm. And he does that July, August, right? And he tells the people, don't worry about setting me up with the trilogy now. I want to take this time to chill, hear my body. I'll take a walkthrough guy that I can get 5, 6, maybe 6 rounds of work in.
Okay.
And then March at latest in 2026, if you can get Benavidez and Bivol done by Halloween, I'll bang the winner of that out early March. You know what I mean? Early 2026. Because at that point, Beterbiev has had time to truly heal his body. He's had time to, because he's 40. Like I said, give him some time off. You know what I mean? But we'll see, man. It's interesting either way. It can be interesting. You know what I mean? But I will admit, this fight was better than the first one. I do think a trilogy would be even better. I don't care if there's an actual knockout. I think the trilogy would be better because Bivol knows he beats him in speed and with the gas tank, and Beterbiev knows it too. And I think Beterbiev may go deep into the bag to realize I'm not going 12 with this guy. I'm not going 12 with this guy because he's not gonna run again, for lack of better terms. Mm-hmm. He's not gonna run again like he did in the first one. He didn't run in the second one. He's damn sure not gonna run in the third one. You know what I mean?
Another thing I noticed too, they hurt each other to the body quite a bit in that fight.
Yeah, they did. Excuse me. Yeah, they did.
They're great fighters. It's funny. I said boxing is one of the few sports that I can think of where in most contests I'm not going in with a favorite in my mind. I might favor someone to win, but I'm just a fan of the sport and I want to watch great boxing. I didn't care who won the fight. I wanted to see a great fight and we got it. And awesome. They're some of the smartest fighters they're 2 of the smartest fighters I've ever seen, and physically gifted. It's beautiful. So the next 12 to 15 months, we could see a couple of awesome light heavyweight fights come out.
Ooh, it could be, man. We can definitely see some fireworks. And now the Turk is in it. Yeah, man. I'm excited about this one.
Let's jump ahead now to Shakur Stevenson. So he defended his WBC lightweight championship. He defeated Josh Padley, who was a last 3-day or 4-day replacement for Schofield, and he got knocked out in the 9th. Shakur, obviously short notice. Padley wasn't exactly training. He was keeping in shape, but he was working as an electrician, from what I understand, when he got the call.
Yeah.
I got it. And, God bless him. He fought his ass off, and he said he's set for life. He doesn't have to work that job anymore. He's going to stick to boxing, and he's good to go. I'd like to know how, obviously we expected Stevenson to win this fight. Were you impressed with his performance?
No, because again, you could possibly right now be on some people's pound for pound best list right now, top 5 pound for pound. You fought a guy who was an electrician who doesn't even take boxing full time. He does not even take boxing full time, right? So, having said that, like, I don't know, man, I hate to be this way, but it took you 9 to get him out of there. And it was body shots. He hadn't been training properly. You know what I mean? 4 days ago, this cat is sitting at the house chilling. He gets a call between service calls at his job. He's like, yeah, I'll do it. Not to mention he had to do traveling, get shots, pass all, you know what I mean? Yeah. So the fact, and he was ranked he was ranked like 50th, 53rd or something in the division, right?
Yeah.
He wasn't even ranked. So you did what you were supposed to do. And the fact he still went 9 with you and you're talking trash, you're talking junk, this, that, whatever, wanting to say, look at me, all eyes on me. I wasn't impressed. I was not impressed. And let's not get it. Early when he was still fresh, Padley landed a few shots. It was early. Then his gas tank, then those body punches and everything took its toll. You know what I mean? But I just wasn't impressed. And I think Shakur, there was an old movie years and years ago, right? I think I'm 8, 9 years old. It was called The Last Dragon, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Bruce Leroy, right?
Enough.
Yeah, there you go. So the one cat told Bruce Leroy in his dojo, he said, now see me, I have mastered the art of fighting without actually fighting. And I'm saying that like Shakur somehow and his team somehow has gotten his name up there with not impressive victories, no victories with big names, yet everybody still, Shakur's fighting. This was his first pay-per-view, and he got it, and he wasn't even a co-main event, and he had to take a guy on two days' notice. That's not his fault. The other guy, backed out. And the guy that he was going to fight was 20, 22 years old. He wasn't even a decent name. You know what I mean? So I just wasn't impressed. And Shakur, God bless him, he's worked his name into every category. He's worked his way up to high, like a top 5 in the light and the welterweights, whatever it is, you know what I mean? Without being impressive and without beating anybody. You know what I mean? So, hey, it is what it is. You know what I mean? I don't care what you say. We're fans of Keyshawn Davis. But if you have someone else says, Keyshawn can't beat Shakur, and maybe that is the common, I don't want to say the common sense, but say that's the popular vote. Davis can't beat Shakur. But if I watch fight for fight, Davis has been more impressive.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And let's keep it a buck. Yeah. Wouldn't Barancek be the biggest name that either of those guys has fought?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. So to me, I'm not saying to be a pushover, but I got to give Shakur his credit. He's and it's kind of weird because for some reason he's going after Tank, but there are other guys in that weight class he could be calling. Yeah. But there's other guys you could be going after in that weight class, at least a couple top 10 guys to get your credit, to get your street cred up, as the young kids want to say, whatever. But I wasn't impressed with it. What about you? How'd you look at it?
I wasn't impressed by it. I mean, I'm glad it didn't go the distance.
That could have been, I don't want to say career suicide, but it wouldn't have been good.
Wouldn't have been good. I like that he went to the body and ultimately got a stoppage that way because he's not a knockout. He's not going to knock out Tank Davis. He's not knocking out Keyshawn Davis. He's not knocking out any Teofimo Lopez. He ain't knocking any of them out. He's not. He's just not. He will outbox them, yes, maybe, but he will not knock them out. I like that he went downstairs and that mindset needs to carry over in any other fight he has. He's got to go downstairs to get stoppages.
Yeah. You know what's funny to me though, man? Remember when we were coming up on boxing? If a guy picked it, they used to say certain guys, he's fighting the bum of the month club. He's not really, you're supposed to be a top guy. You're fighting the bum of the month. That guy was a tomato can. Never understood why they call it tomato can, but I know what it means, but never understood why they said it, right? Or tomato can, bum of the month club. I'm trying to think whatever. Or if you couldn't take a punch, they'd be like, yo, you got a glass jaw. There were guys that were labeled just glass jaws and not having chins.
Yep.
They don't talk about fighters negatively like that anymore. it's like they're afraid to hurt anybody's feelings, and guys will take it. Get butthurt when you criticize them like that. And I'm saying that because nobody's really calling Shakur out, saying some of the other fighters will, but none of the talking heads. Dude, you're just not impressive. Dude, you lack power. And there have been other fighters. Pernell Whitaker was not a strong guy, but he was hard to hit. He was impressive. He was doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not a big Mayweather guy, but Mayweather was hard to hit. He was doing it, whatever have you. And he was going the distance, but it just, with Shakur, man, they're just boring fights. They're just boring fights. And this against Padley, that was nothing more than a sparring session. That was a sparring session with one of his own guys. That's all that was. And I just expected more from him. I really did.
So, I mean, when we want to ask ourselves what's next for him, I don't know. He wants Davis, so he wants the top guy. I'll be honest with you. If I'm Stevenson, I understand why he's doing it, because if he fights anyone other than Tank, he runs the risk of possibly losing. And guess what?
Yes.
Get that fight.
And that's the crazy part. Nobody is saying that. You haven't fought a top 10 guy yet. You know what I'm saying? So whether it's Keyshawn Davis, whether it is Lomo, if you can get him back in, whether it's Zepeda, you know what I'm saying? Now, those are all top 5-6 guys, whatever have you, you know what I mean? But hell, let's see if you can get him in there against Frank Martin. See how he looks, at least against Frank Martin, somebody in the top 10. Give me somebody. You're not doing that. So again, yes, yes. So I can't blame Shakur for calling out Tank. No. But it's funny to me because they'll tell you the sweet science. You got to be a boxer, you should be a thinker. There's a craft to it. But outside of the ring, a lot of these guys don't use a craft mindset. And I'm saying that because Shakur, you're beefing with him. You and what's his name? Crawford are beefing on Twitter. Mm-hmm. You guys are in significantly different weight classes. You're never going to fight. That to me is that Crawford is back in Shakur. Tank can end this tomorrow. One tweet. You haven't fought anybody. Remember, okay?
Yep.
Remember the movie? My wife hit me to it. Believe it or not, I'd never seen it. Fast and the Furious, right? And the first one, when he's undercover cop and he wants to race with everybody, and he had beaten up the guy, hadn't gotten into a fight the other guy at the day, and the guy says, I want to get in this race. He's like, it's big money. He said, I want to race. The other guy says, just because you can box, don't mean you need to be in the ring with Ali. And I'm saying, just because Shakur is fighting and he's beating opponents, don't mean you've earned your shot at the top dog. You know what I'm saying? And regardless, even to me, if you want to say Tank is ducking guys, he fought at least Garcia. He was smart enough to put the hydration clause in, and he dropped him with a body shot. And everybody else you put in front of Davis, he's taken out in spectacular fashion. Oh, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yep. He's got the belt. It doesn't look like he's giving it up anytime soon. So he's earned the right to say yes, no, to me. And I only want to say that because Shakur's talking a whole lot, right? But you haven't beaten anyone. You know, or if there's a guy in the top 15, top 20, whatever, you're talking a whole lot, but you haven't beaten anyone. You know what I mean? So, but also it's tough for me on Tank because you talk a lot and you draw eyes to your fights because how mad you get, but you're not fighting the big guys, you know? So it is what it is, man. I just, I don't even want to, honestly, I can't even tell you what the future is with those cats.
No, I'm right now. Let's see. Let's just wait and see what happens. And maybe after Tank's fight, and we'll talk about that shortly here. Who knows? But right now, no, I'm not seeing it either. Let's talk about Kabayel knocking out Zhang. Big Zhang in the 6th round. Kabayel. I mean,
Zhang was game in the first round. He was gang. Big dog. This one, game plan. Your boy Kabayel stayed digging that body. Digging that body. And to me, that was the difference. That indeed was the difference. Zhang is 41. Again, father time's undefeated. And it showed. You're hitting that big dude with those body shots, and it paid off. That's a 6-round knockout. And he wasn't hurt. He was tired. You know what I mean? So that's all I'm saying about that, man. You know, and I'm really in because the way the heavyweight, this guy, that guy, this guy, it doesn't even matter to me who's next for whomever. You know what I mean? It really doesn't matter. Yeah. Don't be surprised if you see Kabayel's name with a big name here next.
I think he earned it. He didn't. Yeah, he wasn't. I mean, Zhang got tired quick. He did hurt him at the end, though. I mean, he smoked him a couple times, got some liver shots in there. That was it, man. He just
Well, here's my thing though. If Zhang has a better gas tank, or that's a first, second round, I don't think he drops from those shots. They let you know your opponent. He knew Kabayel was in front of him. If he hits him with that shot in the first or second round, ooh, okay, I felt that. But I think he goes on. By the sixth round, he was exhausted. You saw his hands down to his. He's exhausted.
It's a good point.
Exhausted. You know what I mean? So that's why I meant, he wasn't hurt. He was exhausted. Yeah.
All right, so we'll move on now to the another replacement. Joseph Parker defeats the 72-hour replacement. Martin Bakole jumps in for Daniel Dubois, the IBF title holder, who fell ill, and he fell in the second round. Before I ask you what's next for Joseph Parker, because he took care of business, but I'm curious, that shot, it hit Bakole on top of the head.
And that big dude, and I'm assuming that just shook him something. You saw the way he fell.
Yeah.
His equilibrium, something was off. Because earlier, was that the first round or earlier in the second round, when he hit, it was like a movie. He hit Bakole square in the jaw. Bakole stepped back and then just kept coming. He looked like the boogeyman. He was like, dude, you can't hurt me. And you can't tell me. When Parker saw that, Parker didn't in his mind go, oh shit. Had to. When sweat came off Bakole's head, and he was like, all right, now my turn. But that was shot. Man, that shot skimmed off the top of the head, and I think it just you got caught. And I hate to say he got caught, but you know how it is in fighting. You hit that sweet spot, and that's what it was. Because you saw the way he fell. It was like somebody turned the room upside down on Bakole.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Bakole. That's what it was like, man. That's what it was like.
You're right. I mean, but in real time, the punch didn't look that harmful.
No, it didn't.
It's like, okay, I hit you in the top of the head, and his hand kind of skipped off of his head, so it's like he didn't even really get the full follow through on it. But I mean, it was a perfect shot.
Yeah, and let's not forget, if you replay it or whatever, when he hit him, and he wasn't even in his face. There was a gap between them, so to speak. It was like a delayed reaction, almost like a movie or something.
Yep.
I don't know what it was, but you could tell it wasn't like he even took a knee. He didn't take, you could tell arms, legs going one way, that way. It was like literally the whole room got turned upside down on him. But the dirty thing to me, man, he's being punished. He took the loss. He took the fight on very, very short notice. He got knocked out with a shot that 9 out of 10 times does nothing, but it was that one time because it wasn't even hard as he got hit.
Yep.
And he was in that eliminator, and he was supposed to be fighting Efe Ajagba in April or May 2nd. So Bakole can still fight him, but since he lost, they said, we're now not going to put you in the eliminator because you can still fight, but it's not considered the eliminator. We'll have to find another fighter that will be considered for the eliminator. So the IBF is saying, since you lost, we're not going to put you in the eliminator because if you win, now you go on for bigger and better money. You know what I'm saying? Which the man took it on short notice. He helped save that card in the aspect of giving, Parker an opponent, whatever have you. He took the fight. Now he made $600,000. Think about that. Turk paid him $600,000 for that.
Yep,
that's big money, dog. That's big. Saudi money.
5 minutes of work. 5 minutes of work.
That Saudi money's real money, though. That Saudi money's real money. I'm interested to see how they take boxing over.
First of all, the fact that the IBF's the governing body making these decisions.
Yeah, I know. You know how we feel about that.
On we go. U6 IBF champ, as far as I'm concerned. Number 2. Bakole should absolutely get a pass because he took it on short.
Yes.
I mean, you give Martin Bakole 3 to 4 months to train for that fight, could be a very different outcome.
Yes, without question.
And I'll give you 30 reasons why. That's how much.
Yes.
Actually, 30. He was 30 pounds heavier in that fight than he was against Big Baby.
Yes. Yeah. So, dude, and you figure, okay, that fight was February 22nd. Okay. Say he hadn't have done anything. Then you have March, April, right? That's 8 weeks. So let's just say, sake argument, in the average, I think the average camp is what, 8 to 12 weeks for a fighter, about 8 to 12, depending, right? So if he'd have waited. He was like a week out of actual training for his main fight. Now, if he'd even been training since he's 30 pounds heavier in his last fight, he was sitting on the couch. He couldn't have been training more than 1-2 days, a week maybe. You know what I'm saying? So he's out of shape, but he took the fight. He gets knocked out, and he's got to travel to do all that. He gets knocked out, and now you punish the man? I don't know, man. And regardless, if he brings it, if he loses or not, he's bringing it. Just like against Parker, it only went 2 rounds, but that shot, and he shakes it off, that's going to be in people's head for a while. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just think they did him dirty, man. He helped save that card, and then they did him dirty, in my opinion. Now,
where does Joseph Parker go from here? Because he was robbed of his title chance against Dubois. No, Dubois, he felt ill, whatever. I don't think he was ducking him. But who does he get?
If I'm Parker or Kabayel, I'm trying to get Joshua. I'm trying to get Dubois. I'm trying to get one of those cats. That's who I'd like to see. You know what I'm saying? Hergovich, I can't say him. Definitely not Zhang now. No. You know what I mean? Not Deontay Wilder. We don't know what Ruiz is doing. Big Baby didn't do anything for him to help himself. You know what I mean? So if I'm Zagat, I get Kabayel, or if I am Parker, I'm trying to call or Parker, Kabayel, let's do it. Let's because we're both coming off, spectacular wins, nice work. If we can't get Joshua or Dubois to fight one of us, you know what I'm saying? Then let's, because I guess has either one really earned, I hate to say earned the right because there's nobody coming up the ranks, but has either one of those guys earned the right to beat Usyk? Which, to be honest with you, the way Parker fights, I'd like to see him and Usyk go.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Dubois should have the IBF strap, but I think Dubois should have an opportunity to either fight. He should either fight Parker as planned next, or, well, I think that'll happen. I personally think that's what's going to happen. The winner's going to get Usyk. But I would like to see Bakole definitely, like I said, definitely not get a pass on that one. But Kabayel, wow, I'd like to see him fight Joshua. They're not going to do that because I think he'll beat Joshua, and then the big money's gone. I think they want to get Joshua and Fury in the ring. I think that's the smart money fight. Bon voyage, both of you. I mean, that'll be it.
Yeah.
Honestly. And it'll be a UK thing. But
I'm glad you added that, because think about it. They're both coming off losses.
Yeah.
And you said that'd be the big money fight. How can that be a big money fight when they're both coming off losses? But you said it. It's UK. That's why it'd be. So, yeah, there you go. Because normally.
And hell, I'd like to watch it. That'd be a good fight. It'd be a good fight to watch, I think. Fury and Joshua. And it's not the Fury and Joshua that was there 5 years ago. No, obviously.
I just don't know what Joshua we're getting. I'm always going to be that way. I don't know.
No, and it's legit. It's very legit.
I just don't know.
All right, let's flip the script to looking ahead instead of looking back, because we like to look ahead. Let's talk about the Gervonta Tank Davis LaMont Roach fight for the WBA Super Lightweight Championship that is around the waist of Tank Davis. I don't think there's a lot to break down here, Chops, but what I do understand, but maybe there is. But I mean, Roach is actually coming up in weight.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Skill set wise, I think Roach has as we say, deeper toolbox. Mm-hmm. I think he's got a deeper, bigger toolbox than Tank. I already know this. I believe so. He is good with real estate. He's got a nice jab, quick hands, great counterpuncher, and he can move and throw at angles. You know where Tank is going to be, right? Here's the problem, because it happened to Martin. You pause for a second, it's curtains. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So you can't stop in front of Tank for too long. See, that's the thing. And like you said, he's coming up in weight. Now, I know I watched a little video on him, and he was training, and he said, I weighed in at 135 yesterday, but that's before I worked out. So he's probably saying he sweat off a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, dog, that's a problem. If you're telling me it's going to be hard for you to make the 135 limit, because that's what I got from it. If you say I was 135 yesterday, but that was before I worked out, then that's telling me I lost weight, so I'm under 135 now. So if you're having an issue making 135, now I think the rehydration clause is what, 10 pounds? Because there is a rehydration clause in it that they've got to weigh in the day of the fight.
Yeah.
I got to believe that is from Roach and not Tank. Tank, why would Tank be worried about Roach putting on weight? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the only thing that scares me, man. You're coming up. You haven't had a tune-up. You don't know what the power, and even if you had another 135er, he's not throwing Tank's power. You know what I'm saying? You would get a chance at a little bit of stronger guys. You would be able to see how your skills at 130 moved up to 135. And I realize some people may say it's 5 pounds. What's 5 pounds matter? Well, imagine if you're losing weight and you're like, man, I got to get that last 5 pounds, and how you kill yourself, not eat and drain yourself to lose that last 5 pounds. Well, if you destroyed yourself to get to that last 5 pounds, but I didn't, I'm fresher than you. I feel better. My power's still there. So it makes a difference. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
skill set wise, I think Roach can be there. I really do. I think Roach can be there. And I think it's going to be an interesting fight until he tastes Tank's power. That's what it's going to be. If he somehow could catch Tank coming in, because he's a great counterpuncher. He throws with precision. He could catch Tank coming in. Not saying, what was he, 42-1 underdog, Buster Douglas? Not saying this is Buster Douglas and Tyson.
Mm-hmm.
If I was a betting man, I'm still going to go Tank. But don't be surprised if Roach surprises some people with his skill set. Don't be surprised.
He's a talented fighter. He's a very talented fighter. His only loss was Jamel Herring, and it was a unanimous decision loss. He went the distance. He doesn't have a huge resume. I mean, he beat Jonathan Okendo by a UD, and he got a split decision over Hector Luis Castillo. Those are some of his more recent fights, his bigger name fights. We know Tank's undefeated. Getting the KO over Garcia, getting the TK over Raleigh Romero, getting the UD over Cruz, and then getting the TK over Barrios. He's fought some very good fighters.
Oh, yeah. Now, skill set wise, styles make fights. None of those guys are like Roach. Now, here's the thing. Garcia could have been, because he was a boxer, whatever have you. Now he had more reach, so it was different. He was significantly taller than Davis, so Davis had to do some other things to get in there. But he's not the counterpuncher that Roach was. And Roach may be able to sting you in the way that Sugar Ray did. Now, Sugar Ray had power. Sugar Ray Leonard had power. But you know what they say, man? Those punches you don't see are the ones that get you. Mm-hmm. He's a great counterpuncher. He can pivot at the hips. He can get out of there and not stand in front of you. But he truly, truly, truly cannot get outside of himself. I don't care how much success you're having on. I don't care if you're winning every round through the 5th or 6th round. Don't think you sap Davis's power that you can stand in front of him for too long. No. That's what worries me. And is this situation going to be bigger than Roach's? It's because we know it's bigger than he's ever been in. Will it be too big for him? That's what I need to see.
All very good questions. You can see the tail of the tape here. I mean, their age, they're within a year of each other. Their height, they're very close. Their reach is very close. Now, Tank's the southpaw, and Roach is the orthodox fighter. So, again, I like it. You got the southpaw who throws the big uppercut, big haymaker uppercut, and then you got the counterpuncher Roach, who's more of a boxer.
Yeah.
Very skilled boxer. I agree. It's going to be a good fight, no question. I mean, how do you see this shaking out?
The smart money, I'm going to go. Tank is going to win by knockout. There's no way. There's no way this goes. If this goes decision, Roach has got to win this, I would think, because that means he was able to stay on his bike, not let Tank get in front of him. I don't see Tank out boxing him. Tank is going to bully him and beat him up. But here's the thing, real quick, dog. I don't want to take too long. But it's Davis, we know, is the power guy. You know what I mean? Roach has to stay on. He has to stay mental. They fought in amateurs twice. Davis, Tank won both times. And everybody says, well, these guys know each other. You know how many years ago that was? And my thing is this. If we fought within the last year, okay. But hell, we just saw Saturday. Those guys fought 6 months ago. That was not the same guy that Beterbiev had saw 6 months ago. So guys can change. But think about this. If they fought 5-6 years ago, which probably was significantly longer than that, right?
Probably more like 10, 11.
Yeah, exactly. Now that I'm thinking about it, yeah. Right? If they fought 10, 12 years ago, if a man at 31 is the same as he was at 21, I don't care what you do in life, you have wasted 10 years of your life. You cannot be the same guy. You cannot be the same guy. Tank's power has gone up exponentially. It's out of this world.
Oh yeah.
Your boy Roach's defense, his counterpunching his speed has gotten significantly better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So these guys are nowhere near the same fighters they were 10 years ago. I hate when guys say that, to me. Now, when your Lions play, the Vikings, we played you 6 weeks ago. You are what you are. We know you guys. We play. Oh, that's something different. But when you're fighting a guy we haven't fought 10 years, 4 years. You know what I'm saying? It's just different to me. You know what I mean? So I don't take much in that. But I'm interested to see this, man. I don't think it's going. If Tank closes the distance and gets in there quick, fast, in a hurry, and Roach can't get him up off of him, it's going to be a short night. It's going to be a short night. You know what I mean? It will definitely be a short night.
I got to go in 7. I got to go in 7. I think Tank will get the KO. I think he's going to – but I know Martin and Roach are similar fighters, but I think Martin is a little stronger, but I think Roach has got a little more speed. And I think it'll be an entertaining fight, but certainly I think Tank's going to win. But I guess the key question before we cut out, we only got a couple minutes, is that assuming Tank's going to win this fight, what do you see for him next within the next year? Who's he going to get next?
For Tank?
Mm-hmm.
It depends how he wins, because if it's controversial, he may want to run it back. I doubt it, but he may want to. But Tank, you can't. A lot of people thought that thing was a tomato can. I don't want to call him a tomato can, but we know Tank is starting to get the label of you cherry picking your ducking guys. Okay, you win this one, it's gotta be Teofimo. It's got to be a run back with Garcia. It's got to be a name. Is Lomo coming out? I don't know what Lomo's doing. You know what I'm saying? But it's got to be a nice name. I don't know if Tank is ready to move up to 140 full time yet, because I think he'll have the same problems that Pitbull has at 140. The length, the boxing, you know what I'm saying? So I think that could be a bit of it. Now, we know Tank has the power to hurt cats, but you're not going to be able to just muscle those guys in at 140. You're not just going to be able to walk them down. Yeah. They're going to make you pay. That ain't free. You're going to have to pay to get into that real estate. You know what I mean? So what do you think? Well, what do you think, before I go on, what do you think?
I don't think there'll be a controversy. So I agree. He's got to fight a name, because I'll be honest with you, I'm so freaking tired of reading Twitter.
Oh my goodness.
The bullshit comments back and forth from him. It's like, get in the ring, man. Sign on the dotted line. I mean,
exactly.
You think the cat's not, it's like, okay, you think Shakur's not worth it? Then sign the dotted line, put his ass to sleep in 2 rounds and say, told you so.
Yes.
Millions and move on.
Yes. And also, real quick, if he doesn't think Shakur is the money, try to work something out with the promoter to get more money on the back, because people are going to buy that fight. I think it'll be a big seller. Get more money on the back end if it hits certain numbers. And at that point, you do what you have to do at the press conferences to sell that fight. Exactly. But you have to, man. You have to stay. But don't forget, Big Dog, it's at 135. They're 135. I don't know if Tank can make 130 anymore or whatever. But you still have would Zepeda come up? What are we going to do with Keyshawn Davis? You know what I mean? What are we doing with it? There's fights out there. They can be made. We can do a catch weight, 133. I don't know. Do something. But he is in. Tank can't cherry pick anymore. He can't.
Could the monster come up and wait? We're probably out of time.
Ooh,
that would be interesting.
Ooh, that'd be a good one.
Wouldn't it?
That'd be a good one. Yeah, that'd be a good one.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it. We are out of time. We love talking combat sports. He's Chops. I'm Drew. We're going to be on every week on the ESCN Network Roku channel every Friday night at 10 p.m. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like the videos. Appreciate your support. We'll talk to you next week. Thank you for watching the Haymakers and Submissions podcast. You can find us on the ESEN network on the Roku app every Friday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time beginning on October 4th, 2024. Check us out on Twitter X. Our handle is @HaySubPod, capital H, capital S, capital P. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss a single episode. Just go to your web browser and type in www.youtube.com/@Haymakers and Submissions podcast, as we will drop content weekly. Whether it's boxing, MMA, or wrestling that gets you fired up, you'll get all you need right here at the Haymakers and Submissions podcast.